Almost all animals have some way of regulating their body temperature as well. They only survive extreme hot or cold conditions, sweating, panting, pant. And swimming into cool or warm water, ducking into somewhere cool like a burrow. Into somewhere cool like a burrow or hole under a rock. Burrow. Barrel. And barrel or a hole under a rock. There are just a few, and that body is colder or warmer than the surrounding environment. Because it's a microclimate. A microclimate is a group of climate conditions that affect the localized area. Weather features like temperature, wind, moisture, and so on. Or when I say localized, I mean really localized because microclimates can be, as the same name suggests, pretty small, even less than a square meter, and microclimates are affected by a huge number of other variables. Obviously, weather conditions in the surrounding area are a factor, but other aspects of the location, like the elevation of the land, the plant life nearby, and so on, have a substantial effect on microclimates. And of course, the human development in the area a role will affect nearby microclimates. It's also interesting to know that microclimates near each other can have very different conditions. In the forest, for example, there can be a number of very different microclimates close to each other because of all the variables we just mentioned. because of all the variables that I just mentioned. So how does a hole in the ground barrel stay cool in a hot climate? Well, since cold air sinks and these spots are shaded, they are usually much cooler than the surrounding area, and these spots are also important because many animals rely on microclimate to regulate their body temperature. For instance, there is a species of squirrel in the western part of the United States that can get really hot when they were out foraging for food. Forage. For food, so they need a way to cool down. So what do? They go back to their own barrel. Once they get there, their body temperature decreases very quickly. The trip to the barrel prevents the squirrel from getting too hot. But squirrels are mammals, right? I thought mammals regulate their temperatures internally. Mammals have the ability to regulate their body temperature, but not all can do it to the same degree or even the same way. Like when you walk outside on a hot day, you perspire. And your body cools itself down. A classic example of how mammal regulates its own body temperature. But one challenge that squirrels face, well, many small mammals do is that because of their size, sweating would make them lose too much moisture. They dehydrate. But on the other hand, these small size allow them to fit into very tiny spaces. So for small mammals, a microclimate can make a big difference. They rely on microclimates for survival. So cold-blooded animals like reptiles that can't control their own body temperature. So I can imagine that the effect of microclimate would have on them. Yes, many reptiles and insects rely on microclimates to control their body temperature. A lot of reptiles use burrow or stay under rocks to cool down. Of course, with reptiles, it's a balancing act. Staying in the heat for food can relate to problem, but staying in the cold can do the same. So reptiles have to be really precise about where they spend their time, even how they position their bodies. And when I say they're precise, I mean it. Some snake will search out a place under rocks over a specific thickness because too thin a rock doesn't keep them cool enough, and too thick a rock will cause their get too cold. That level of precision is critical to the snake for maintaining its body temperature. And even microscopic organisms rely on microclimates for survival. Think about this. Decomposing leaves create heat that warms the soil. The warm soil in turn affects the growth the conditions of organisms there. And those organisms then affect the rate of decomposition of the leaves. So a microclimate can be something so small and so easy to disturb that even tiny change can have a big impact. If someone on a hike knocks over there, over, they could be unwittingly destroying a microclimate that an animal organism relies on.
just